Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Um, Here is the next video, and I'm just gonna title this Listen. And here's what I mean by that. I need you guys to stay abreast of worship, the atmosphere of worship that's going on just in the earth. What are people saying and doing? What are people that we love and listen to, like William McDowell and Rick Pino, and Elevation Worship and Maverick City Music and Anwa in Chicago and Tasha Cobbs and Kiara Shear, Todd Galbraith and Miranda Curtis, Judith McAllister, Wendy Henderson White. What are people saying? What is Bethel doing? What are the Planet Shakers doing? Um, Not just to mimic them, but just to hear what God is saying in the earth about worship and what he's saying through some of his trusted leaders through worship. What am I saying? What is Kitty saying? What's Nate saying? What's going on in Grand Rapids? What's the sound of the house at KLM? What's Pastor preaching? What's going on? What are you sensing? You have to be praying into that instead of just learning songs weekly. What is God saying in there? Because God is not schizophrenic. Now, yes, he gives us all different assignments, but if he's saying this is miracle time, this is birthing season, I've heard it so many times, miracle time, it's birthing season, it's time to build, it's time to create. It's a lot of things that's going on in the world that don't seem like that word seems antithetical to, but God is saying it's time to build, it's time to move, it's time to create, it's time to advance, it's time to be, it's time to build teams, it's time to build people, it's time to launch. That's some of the across the board things that God is saying, the across the board word that God is given. But you also want to know what he's saying for your house. What is our pastor teaching and preaching? What has she just been honing in on? What tags have been coming to us without us trying, right? Okay, so listen and stay abreast of worship, what's happening, and then worship music. Guys, if we say we love something, we have to study our craft. If you love worship, then you have to love music because that's what we do. You have to love singing. So you got to be listening to music so that when music is introduced, not all of it, not all the time, but when music is introduced, you've had at least a cursory knowledge of it. You've at least heard it. And then when we do have music, you've got to indulge yourself in it so that you learn it, because what comes from the heart really does go to the heart. If you don't know it, you cannot convey it well. I've learned that over the years. If you don't know a song, you cannot convey it well. You just can't. And just because God helps us in a moment doesn't mean that we're rightly prepared. So I want you guys to really be listening to new music. It helps when new music is introduced, like I said, that you have at least a cursory knowledge of it. And then again, if it's what you love, then you will immerse yourself in it. I'm not saying make it your top priority, but it should be important. It should be something that you make time for. Making time for it shouldn't have to be forced on you. It should be something that is a privilege and an honor and that you love to do. So I want you to listen to music, listen to radio, go and go on YouTube and just search worship and let it play. When I was a very young, very new worship leader, I would just go into the just when we had to go buy CDs, I would just go into the music store and pick up what I wanted, and then I'd add 2 or 3 people that I didn't know, and that's how I got introduced to people like Rick Pino and Kim Walker, and so many other people that I didn't know who they were. I think that's how I got introduced to David and Nicole Binion and that kind of thing. Listen to stuff that everybody's listening to, and also listen to things that nobody is listening to, because you never know what song God will want to use through you or use for the house. Parenthetic, let me say that it's something that I've also learned as a worship leader, that something can bless you, but it doesn't mean it's for the house. So we have to rightly discern. Sometimes you guys send me music and sometimes we sing it, sometimes we do not. I don't want you to be offended, because sometimes just because it's a blessing to you, it doesn't mean that it's usable for the house. We got to consider the team, the voices we have, the musicality, the skill of musicality that we have, the range of the song. Is it saying what we're saying right now? Is it really a worship song? Like, a worship song should not have a lot of I's and me's in it. It should be vertically focused. Depending on what it is, it depends on how it's written. Is it biblical? That kind of thing. Like, so we have to know what we're singing too. So when you're choosing songs and listening to songs, that's just a little brief tip on what you're choosing and what you might present. Or if you do present it, if it's not necessarily chosen, that you understand why. It could be a song that you really love, but it's out of your range. It could be a song that you really, really love, but it's too difficult. The music is too difficult for the band that we have. Or if it's a song that we will need to spend some time learning. Or it could sound great and it's a worship song, but it's really choir. It's really 30 people singing it, and we have, what, 6? So all those things considered, I want you guys to listen to lots of music. Just get your ears out there. It's going to help you grow your ears. Something that I say all the time. Listen to your parts. Listen to parts. Listen to the whole song as a total song. Listen to patterns, and then hone in on your part. You have to grow your ear by honing in on your part and singing that. You can't vacillate when you rehearse, because you're going to vacillate when you come to practice. In addition to that, saying that rehearsal is not necessarily for learning a song. Rehearsal is for just that, rehearsing the song, practicing the song that you've already learned. You should not be learning a song afresh and new in a rehearsal on a Saturday morning, all right? That is your job. That's up to you. That's your work that you need to be doing, that we all need to be doing during the week, just like we expect the band. Because what if the band did that? What if the band didn't know the song and they still learn it? Sometimes they do have to go over things, to come together and go over things. But for the most part, Rich knows the songs, and Dale knows the songs, and Dave practices and knows the songs, Pat knows the songs, Vic knows the songs. They've already practiced and spent time on it at home, so when they come together, they bring their parts together. And sometimes, if this one didn't hear that like that, or whatever the case, then they have to fix those parts, but they're not learning a song anew and afresh, and we should not be either, all right? So do your work during the week. Listen to more music. Write things down if you need to. Record yourself if you need to. Listen just for enjoyment, but then hone in and listen critically, and then listen to your part. Listen to know the words. If you got to type them out on your phone, to go over them and go over them bit by bit. I gave you some tips of how to learn and remember your songs and remember lyrics. Do that if you got to learn to remember the first word, because that'll help prompt you, or do it by letters. That'll help prompt you. Whatever way you enact, that's going to help you. However your memory works, I want you guys to do that, all right? Because we're going to get better. We're getting better each and every week. We are getting better, and I want you to do your work. All right, love you guys. See you in the next video.